What's up, guys? So first of all, again, thanks to everyone supporting my channel. I do appreciate it. Um, I want to talk about something pretty interesting today. Some of you might have seen this going around on social media, especially if you're on Twitter or Vero, which is Zack Snyder's choice of social media is Vero. Everyone knows that's where he shares all of his cool stuff, especially all the stuff that we saw from the Snyder Cut or stuff that he's shared from Justice League. So, and we also see a lot of times when people share screenshots of like posts that he comments on or likes, which usually cause a buzz in the DC fandom. So there's a video talking about the Snyder Cut movement, and that in the comments there's people saying that they're either working for WB, Disney, or both to undermine the release, the Snyder Cut movement. And so people are kind of trying to call these people out, I guess, and say that there are people who they think that are trying to prevent the release of Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. I don't know if that's true. We don't know if that's true, but that's what some people think, and can't say I blame them. But we don't know that. But then another person comments and says, or no, the person who posted the video replies to that comment and says, yep, probably Geoff Johns, in my opinion. And then Zack Snyder commented and said, I think he's right. So then there's some other, comments after that, but saying that, they support Zack and stuff. That's pretty bold, in my opinion, of Zack to say that. He didn't go into detail. We know that a lot of times when Zack tends to comment on something, if he was replying to like a fan theory or something like that, sometimes he goes into more detail, but that's usually if it's like discussing like a movie theory, or like, something, a theory that a fan has about something they saw in one of the movies or something in the DCU, or, and he kind of confirms if they're right or not, but, or he'll explain what his vision was for that or whatever, he'll go into more detail. But when it's this kind of stuff where people are kind of like voicing their opinion about all the drama about Justice League, and if a lot of people have thought that Geoff Johns had a lot to do with it, which, like I said, we don't really know. There's people who also are on the other side of that and say that he's not to blame and that he's been a big supporter of Zack Snyder and stuff, which I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. But the people who do think that Geoff Johns might have had a lot to do with it, which he could have, because he was demoted into a lower role after the whole Justice League dilemma. Not dilemma. It wasn't even a dilemma. It was BS. Whatever. After all that, he stepped down from overseeing all these movies, and so, or was removed, or whatever the case. So maybe he did have something to do with it and trying to get a lighter tone and whatever. But a lot of people have said that, he should have tried to be the bridge, so to speak, between Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder, and try to like kind of have Zack Snyder's back in a sense, and support his vision and stuff like that, since he's a big part of the DC world in the comics and movies and TV shows and everything. So the fact Zack Snyder, all he said was, I think he's right. Simple comment, but could have a lot of meaning to it. And I don't know what else he could have been talking about. Whether he was commenting on the video itself, or if he was saying that, if he was replying to the part that said probably Geoff Johns, in my opinion. Either way, he's still kind of agreeing with and showing support for what these fans are saying about, Geoff Johns' involvement, or people, possibly other people that are trying to prevent the release of Justice League, or trying to like, put it at a, try to like keep it off, and but it's a big movement and there's a lot of fans out there, and so I don't think people are, planning on just giving up anytime soon with that. We see that even though Warner Brothers wasn't at Hall H at Comic-Con this year, there was still, fans supporting the release the Snyder Cut movement, and, a plane that flew over, and, people have gone to Warner Brothers with banners and all kinds of stuff, tried to, have petitions and fundraisers and all these things. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think it would be disappointing if Geoff Johns does have something to do with this, because being such a DC lover that he supposedly is, and knowing that, like, I mean, he's supposedly such a big, like, Superman fan and stuff like that, but I don't know, like, maybe he didn't like the direction that Zack went with Man of Steel and BVS, and so maybe he was trying to pull more for the, lightheartedness and stuff like that for Justice League. Maybe he was a bigger supporter of, Joss Whedon's changes that he made to the movie and stuff. We don't really know, but there are a lot of people out there who think that that's the case. So, I don't know, but that'd be pretty disappointing. At least Christopher Nolan had Zack Snyder's back. He was a big support system for Zack when he pitched his idea to Warner Brothers for Man of Steel. Mainly, I think the fact that he wanted to have Superman kill Zod. They were like, no, there's no way we're doing that. But Christopher Nolan, like, having made the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff like that, and being a producer on Man of Steel and everything, and BVS, he was really pulling for Zack. He was a support system for him, and telling Warner Brothers just trust his vision and let him do what you hired him to do, But then maybe Geoff Johns was on the other side of that. I don't know. That's just what people might be, that's what people have thought since this whole thing with Justice League happened. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do think it's pretty interesting that Zack Snyder replied the way he did, that he commented at all. I don't know. I feel really bad for him. Like, I think, it's just kind of not a cool thing to do to a director who, puts his heart and soul into these movies that you hire him to create. And yes, they technically belong to the studio, I get that. But when you hire this director, with any director, that would not be a cool thing to do to them, So, I don't know. I hope, I think it's cool that Zack is so interactive with his fans, and that, he takes the time to listen to what people think about his movies and give him their theories and their viewpoints, and he replies, and, he kind of confirms sometimes what they're thinking, and gives them more of what his vision was. And I think it's cool that he does that. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that really quick. And then also there was another thing that I saw on Instagram from Release the Snyder Cut profile, who I also follow on Twitter. A woman that was her role was cut from Justice League. Her scene that she shot, it looks like she had shared on her personal Instagram account a throwback picture of her on set of Justice League. Her caption is "Throwback Thursday to me, all hyped up on my first day on set of Justice League 2016 in full biohazard suit. This is also to show some love to all those DC superfans who've contacted me since then with lovely, supportive messages." So on Twitter, I guess her scene had something to do with the Start Labsscene that was cut from the movie, in which Steppenwolf goes to try to get the third mother box from Silas Stone, Victor Stone, or Cyborg's dad. On Twitter, she said that, now this is translated, so I don't think that, the first part's slightly confusing to me about what it's supposed to mean, but the main bulk of the message is understandable. I went after her for the first time. Her scene takes place at Star Labs when Steppenwolf arrives to pick up the last box, and Silas tries to destroy it, but the box strikes and kills Silas, that was trapped inside the chamber, far from Steppenwolf and the parademons. So suppose, it makes sense that this would relate to some of the leaked pictures, not leaked, the pictures actually that Zack Snyder had shared of stuff that we didn't see with Cyborg. It looks like when his dad is dying in the chamber at Star Labs, trying to protect the mother box, and this scene of him, this glimpse of him crying, of Cyborg crying, that we saw, I think, actually in a trailer. And then some other stuff that we didn't see that Zack shared. And then, also, yeah, the clip of them in the trailer when Aquaman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Cyborg are shown in Star Labs quickly. It's a quick little thing, but I'm pretty sure most of you remember it. That was not in the movie. Also, the picture that we had seen before the movie came out with Wonder Woman, Flash, and Batman standing at Star Labs. A lot of stuff, obviously, that we didn't see. But seems like that's what she's referring to on her Twitter, this actress, Shali. Yeah, I mean, it's not even really the fact that she obviously did not probably have like a major role in the movie. But still, the fact that it's being shared as the description of the scene that was supposed to take place. Not that I want to see, Silas get killed or anything, but it's just like, I think Cyborg had one of the biggest blows, I guess you could say, in this movie, because so much of him was taken out. And he was supposedly, like Zack said, supposed to be the heart of the Justice League. And we didn't see that because they took out so much of his backstory, especially for being introduced as a new character. I guess I could say the same for Aquaman and the Flash, but we know that some of their stuff was obviously cut too, including stuff that we saw in trailers. But I think Cyborg really took the biggest hit as far as stuff being deleted or, cut from the movie. That we were supposed to see from him. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that and share that I saw that on Instagram. And if you are a fan of, if you're a supporter of Release the Snyder Cut movement, maybe you can go follow them on Twitter and Instagram and see the stuff that they share and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate all the time that we're always constantly finding stuff out. And oh well, hopefully we'll see it at some point. But like I said in a previous video, I'd be pretty surprised, actually, if we ever do see it. Happily surprised, but still surprised. So anyway, let me know if you have any thoughts on those topics that I talked about. Oh, Birds of Prey teaser trailer is out as well. It's a very quick trailer. It's kind of cool that they disguised the beginning as It Chapter 2 trailer with the red balloons. I thought that was cool. Referencing, all these clown villain movies that we're getting, with Harley Quinn also being like a clown character. But yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys. Again, check out the links in my description. And if you haven't, check out some of my other latest videos, Robert Pattinson talking about Batman and his latest Variety interview. And yeah, thanks, guys. See you next time.